Alright, so here we are in lesson 22, speed, work, and measurement units. And before we get started, I want you to write this note up here in the top. Remember, time always goes in the denominator. So today we're going to be talking about hours and seconds and minutes. So we need to write ourselves a note that that always goes on the bottom. So we're doing some more standard algorithm just with some more conversions. So example 1 says I drove my car on cruise control at 65 miles per hour for 3 hours without stopping. How far did I go? So we know that we're going to be comparing miles to hours. And if we put in our blank standard algorithm, they told us we went 65 miles per 1 hour. And we did that for 3 hours without stopping. And they want to know how far did I go? So that's where our question mark goes in miles. So now we ask ourselves, how do we get from 1 to 3? We know that we multiply by 3. So we're going to do the same thing on the top. We're going to multiply by 3. So 65 times 3, if you plug it into the calculator, 65 times 3 gives us 195. So this equals 195 miles. Always make sure to put your labels. Okay. Example 2 says Chris ran the 40-yard dash in 4.24 seconds. What is the rate of speed? Alright, so they're asking us for the rate of speed. So the rate, remember, is how much for 1, and for rate of speed, we want to know how much for 1 second. Okay, because we're talking about speed. So we are comparing yards, and we are comparing seconds. And when we put in our blank standard algorithm, we know that Chris ran 40 yards in 4.24 seconds. So now we want to know how much for 1 second. Alright, and we're putting question mark for yards. So we're going to ask ourselves, how do we get from 4.24 to 1? That means we divide by 4.24. You're really going to need your calculator here now. Divide by 4.24. So now in the calculator, if we do 40 divided by 4.24, we get 9.4339. It keeps going. So it says round to the nearest hundredth. So that would be 9.43 yards. Alright, but they're asking for the rate. So that means our answer would be 9.43 yards per second. Okay, always answer the question that they're asking you. Alright, example 3 says your friend ran a race and ran at a constant rate of 8 miles per hour. If she ran 12 miles, how long did it take her? So again, we're comparing miles and we are comparing hours. So when we put in our blank standard algorithm, we have she ran 8 miles per hour and she ran 12 miles, so they want to know how long did it take her. So how many hours? So now we need to ask ourselves, how do we get from 8 to 12? We might not know that, so we can go backwards, right? We can do 12 divided by 8, which gives us 1.5. So this means we're multiplying by 1.5 on the top and on the bottom. And we know 1 times 1.5 is just 1.5. And our unit here would be hours. It took her 1.5 hours. Okay, flip on over to the next page. We've got 2 more here to go through. So example 4 says Derek ran a 120-yard dash in 15 seconds. How fast did he run? So we're going to set up our blank standard algorithm. So again, we have yards and we have seconds. And we're going to put in our blank one. And let's fill in what we know. So we know that he ran 120 yards in 15 seconds. Okay, they want to know how fast. So his speed. So that means we're looking for seconds. How fast did he do it? And if we're trying to find out how fast, we're going to try to find out for 1 yard. Right? This is like the same kind of as the unit rate. So to get from 120 to 1, we divide by 120. So we're going to do the same thing over here. So if we do 15 divided by 120, we get 0.125. Okay? So he ran, that would mean he ran 0.125 seconds. Alright, so he ran 1 yard in 0.0125 seconds, which is pretty fast. Okay? One more. Example 5 says Greg's plane traveled at a constant speed of 425 miles per hour for 7 hours. How far did the plane travel? So again, we are comparing miles and hours. But in our blank one, let's fill in what we know. So the constant speed was 425 miles per 1 hour, and they did that for 7 hours. And they want to know how far did he go. So we're trying to ask ourselves, how do we get from 1 to 7? That means we multiply by 7. So we're going to do the same thing on the top. We multiply by 7. In the calculator, if we do 425 times 7, we get 2,975. So this equals 2,975 miles. Alright, and that is all for this lesson.